Morning all, welcome to Blue Heron Hill. Isn't this just such a beautiful sight? And yes, here we are, another gorgeous fall day. It's supposed to be in the 70s today, and which is a good thing for sure. I have, if you saw my last video, I have my sweet potatoes curing in my greenhouse. May not have too many more days to use the greenhouse to cure them. They're supposed to be cured at a higher temperature and higher humidity. So far I'm getting that. It's probably about 79, 80 degrees in the greenhouse. And if I can keep that up for a few more days, I'll be able to cure that crop just to my liking. But what I am here in this part of the garden to do, and I'm up against my Garden Huckleberries. Let me show you. Gonna harvest these. These I started indoors about March or so and transplanted out, I don't know, a dozen or so plants out into the garden, and I just let them go. I guess fortunately we've had a good deal of rain to keep them sustained, because this part of my garden is not on my drip irrigation system. So I just let them go, and they did very well. I grew these last year, and I got enough for just a small batch of jam. Now these are an annual, and these are in the nightshade family, of which tomatoes are, peppers, eggplants, just to name a few. So even though they don't really look like that, this is a pretty good representative of the plant here. We have they grow in little clusters like this of about, what is that, about 10 berries or so, 8 to 10 berries in a cluster. These are the flowers. You can see small little flowers. And these have a multitude of flowers on them still. If I had a longer season, I would be able to harvest these regularly. Now I could have harvested them before this, but I just thought I'd just leave them on the vine and harvest as many as I could at the end of my gardening season. They take about 75 days to mature. Now there is speculation, or there is evidence to suggest that these are poisonous. Now I know for sure that the leaves and you can see the berries start out at green, and then they turn to this darker shade. So you don't want to eat any of the foliage, and you don't want to eat the green berries, and you want to pick the berries themselves when they are a dull black, as deep as you can, and a little soft, and like this one is. Now we have one here, this is shiny, so that one is not going to be too high on the list of ripe ones. But I'm going to go through, I'm going to pick all of these dark ones and then take them in the house, wash them, and separate those that are not dull, not dark enough, and not squishy enough. But I'm hoping to get enough this year for another round of jam and perhaps a pie. So I have, let me show you. Let's see. This is my patch. It's quite large, and it's been quite productive. And I can even see pollinators still on here. So I'm going to pick all the dark ones that I can, leave the flowers for the pollinator. All done. So there are some ripe ones in there, definitely. I hope this comes off. It should. But there we go. Almost 2 gallons worth of these garden huckleberries. Now, here's one. And this is ripe, and I'm going to taste it. I'll give you my honest opinion. Well, they really don't taste like much. They look quite a bit like a blueberry. Don't taste that way at all. Now, most of the online sources and things say that it needs a little bit of sugar to sweeten it, and then it'll bring out its berry flavor. So I'm going to take these into the kitchen now. I'm going to wash them up. I'm going to sort through them. If I did pick any that were on the green side, those are slightly poisonous. They have solanine in them, and that's that same chemical compound that is in the green part of potatoes that we cut off. Going into the kitchen now. I'll meet you in there. I've decided to make a pie with the garden huckleberries. Cleaning up now. And let me know if you want a tutorial on how I make my pie crusts. Now we're over here on the stove because this is where the magic is going to happen. And it really is magic. Wait till you see what happens to these garden huckleberries when you cook them. Okay, we're putting them in a stainless steel pan. You want a non-reactive vessel here, not aluminum. And they're in here pretty deep, and we're going to fill this to just covering them with water. Okay, water to just cover the berries. It's about 4 to 5 cups of water. And we're going to bring this up to a boil. Now we have a nice boil going on here. Now, and I don't know why this is and what prompted somebody to do this, but in my eyes, this must be quite acidic right now. They don't have any acid tests, but we are going to be adding some baking soda to this. And we gradually sprinkle it in. And if you can see what's happening, I think we're getting ready for the Wicked Witch of the West here, with Halloween coming on. This is turning this a beautiful emerald green here. And this was about 1/3 of a cup of baking soda. Baking soda is highly alkaline. Doesn't smell all that good. We're going to stir it in, and we're going to cook this for 5 minutes. Let me show you how pretty this color is. Look at that. It's a beautiful emerald green. In chemistry, there's a compound called malachite green, and that's exactly the color that this reminds me of. So 10 minutes of cooking this gently, and we'll be back. There you go, 10 minutes, and then you rinse them off. I cleaned out my pan because that had a lot of that green on it. And now we're going to bring that back down from an alkaline solution to more normal. There we go. A little lemon juice and water. And you can see that our color is being restored. Okay, it's luscious and back to its beautiful purple shade, and we're going to cook this down on a low heat for about 30 minutes. So I will be back for the next step after that. Okay, this cooked down quite a bit. It's really kind of mushy. So all the skins have broken and released the goodness inside, if that's what you call it. But if you taste it, it doesn't taste like anything at all. Not even, it doesn't even taste bad. So next step, of course, then calls for about 2.5 cups of sugar. And I like to add some cornstarch right to my sugar, so everything kind of gets incorporated and you don't get clumps and bumps. The sugar is going to produce more juice too. So, all right, sugar. Also a tablespoon of butter, a bit of salt, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and nutmeg. And for a little extra flavor, I'm going to throw in some vanilla. Probably about 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Mix that thoroughly. We're going to cook this down for about 5 minutes. The butter will melt and the cornstarch will help thicken this mixture. And then we're going to be ready to put it in the pie shell. So in the interim, I have rolled out my dough, which had been in the refrigerator, and put it in a pie pan. And we'll just wait till this is ready. It's going to go into a 375-degree oven when I get that pie all put together. It cooked for 5 minutes, and it's nice and thick, and I have my pie shell ready to go. Now, according to the recipe or recipes that I was following, this is supposed to make 2 pies. So I picked, though, my smallest pie plate. And I'm putting probably just a little over 1/2 of this onto here. So there we go. Crimp my crust. There we go, and into the oven it goes. I gotta clean up. I'm going to take the remainder of this and put it in a freezer bag and put it away for the next pie that I make. It'll probably have to be a little bit smaller because I don't have that much left in here. But I do have an entire bowl worth of more of the Garden Huckleberries that I'm going to need to process in the same way and put it in individual storing sizes for whatever else I want to do down the line. Yum! Oh, it looks so good. Smells so good. But gonna have to wait just a little bit before we dig into this. So I'll be back when it cools just slightly. All right, it's time for the true test. Ooh, still steam. Wish you could smell it. It smells good. Okay, a couple thoughts. first of all. Very good, of course. Has sugar in it. What's not good? Tastes a lot like blueberries. So I have a few thoughts on Garden Huckleberries. Now last year I grew them, and then again this year. Last year I had probably 1/3 of what I had. I did do a video, and I think I made some preserves, and I'll link that up in the corner. But a pro on this is that I didn't really have anything labor intensive to do with the growing of this crop. The seeds I germinated inside, no problem. Planted them outside, and to get them started, of course, they had a nice rich base to grow in, and I watered them for a few weeks until they got really established, and then I sort of forgot about them. I didn't have any pest pressure at all with these. It didn't look like anything was munching on the leaves or invading the berries or anything like that, so they were an easy grow. And so if that was all I was thinking about, that would be fine. I would grow them again. But we do have a couple cons, I think. They are a labor-intensive berry to process. You saw what I just went through, all of the different steps and heating and different additions, and then rinsing and more additions and more cooking. And it's a lot of work. And they taste like a blueberry. But for me, blueberries are way easier. I'm developing a blueberry crop of my own, but regularly I just go and I pick blueberries, and all you have to do is add a little sugar to them, a little lemon, a couple other spices, and voila, you have it. There's none of this, you know, the picking, the washing, the rinsing, the cooking, the adding, and all of this other things that you have to do to make this an edible treat. So I'm not sure that I will continue, at least next year, with growing garden huckleberries. I have plenty in that pan right up there that I have to process. And with all the other fruits that I get over the summer, all the other berries and stone fruits and things like that, I have enough to keep me in delectable eats all year long. So I think maybe garden huckleberries may be something I do every other year or every third year. It was nice to try. I'm glad I did it. But again, it's a little labor intensive in the processing department. So for that reason, I may have to only give it a 3 out of 5 stars. But anyway, it doesn't mean I'm going to not finish my slice of pie. So I want to thank you for following me on this video on garden huckleberries. And until the next time that we can go digging in the dirt or cooking in the kitchen. Bye.